Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Angela, and welcome back to hashtag Decan Walk 2023. So we are now in, today is 7/13/2023. Yesterday, 7/12, was the start of the third Decan of Cancer, which is, and I didn't pull it out again, on the zodiacal Decan wheel. It is the Four of Cups for tarot. And so we got keywords here: meditation, contemplation, apathy, reevaluation. And I found it interesting that this is a very traditional kind of RWS deck. And this is the first time I've seen meditation and contemplation on here. I did watch Marlena Trace's video she did yesterday on this specific Decan. And it actually got me thinking a lot about this card. And I was like, I kind of resonate deeply with this card because I don't see it as meditation or contemplation. And if you're reading T. Susan Chang's 36 Secrets, it does give different options of what's going on in the card, like the ultimate question: what's in the cup that's being offered? Whereas this one looks like all of the cups are empty, kind of. Well, there is something in that cup, but the other three are empty. But there was like what's the word I'm looking for? I have a little thing here of papers that I have. I don't know where I stuck them now. Oh my gosh, I lost my paper. Hold on 1 second. Okay. So I was seeing this as, I've seen this as refusing the cup out of being like spoiled or something. And I find it interesting because in the 36 Secrets, it talks about boredom also being an option for this card. And I never really saw it that way before. Boredom, apathy, maybe having so much that you're turning away stuff at this point. I find that very interesting with this card. And before I get any deeper into the card, I'll show you guys the two cards that go with the Four of Cups. So we are in Cancer, so that would be the Chariot still. That card's been the same card we've had since the beginning because we're in the Decan of Cancer. And the third Decan of Cancer, it speaks to... I had all these notes now. It's getting late, so my brain isn't working right. This one is titled Refusing the Call. And we have, it's the Lord of Luxury. So there's an idea here that he's in so much luxury and has so much that maybe there's I guess there is an apathy there where he's refusing things or turning them away. So this is the, oh my gosh, Decan ruler, moon in Cancer. So for the moon, we have the High Priestess. And I didn't really focus on these other two cards. I did focus kind of on the Chariot because the Chariot is my soul card. I don't feel like I resonate with it at all. And then to find out that it is related to Cancer, which is a water sign, it just seemed very, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't even know what word I'm looking for, but it just seemed very interesting that the Chariot is the sign of Cancer. My husband's birthday is 7/12. So he actually, and I've been looking through all of the Decans of Cancer because he is a Cancer. And I'm like, none of these really are appropriate for him until we hit this Decan. And another word for the Four of Cups is moodiness. And my husband is very much a moody person. He's very much I would even say brooding at times, which I found very interesting with this Decan. And I could actually feel that kind of moodiness, cloudy energy starting yesterday as well. So I found that quite interesting as well. So for the Thoth-based deck, what did I just do with the Chariot? I have my Journey of the Sacred Bee, which I've been using since the beginning of this. We have the Chariot. We have the sign of Cancer there. The Four of Cups with the word apathy. And then it shows the Cancer and Moon. And then the High Priestess. And then we have the Moon up here for that sign. So I'm going to clear this and just kind of leave that, because I really focused on the Four of Cups in this Decan. And I just wanted to read a couple things from the T. Susan Chang. It talks about refusing the call. The image depicts reluctance, obliviousness, even boredom. The immobile figure at its center seems to be past caring. In this description of the hero's journey, this is the moment Joseph Campbell describes as the refusal of the call. How did this come to be? Perhaps we must first understand what is not shown on the card, the thrill of the chase or the call itself. And I found that very interesting, that it's almost like they've gone complacent, because and I very much feel that a lot of the time, where I had such a turbulent childhood that when I got older and I became who I am now, I chose to not have a turbulent relationship, or I chose not chaos. And so I kind of sat and got comfortable where I was at, in the position I was at, in the relationships I've been in. I got comfortable. And this almost feels like that Four of Cups energy to me, where you got comfortable, but maybe you shouldn't be comfortable. Maybe you should understand that while you got comfortable, you let other things go. If that makes any sense. I feel like I'm rambling, but anyway. Hold on one second. Okay, my dog just keeps doing stuff. The weight, and I found this interesting. Weight says weariness, disgust, aversion, as if the wine of this world had caused satiety. Only another wine, as if a fairy gift is now offered the wastrel, but he sees no consolation therein. If you repeat the cycle enough, eventually that moment of emptiness starts to seem inevitable. Kind of like when she talks about when you buy a tarot deck, you're all excited about it, and then that kind of wanes and it's gone. That feeling, and so you got to keep buying tarot decks to keep that feeling going. And that's kind of what the Four of Cups, one of the meanings it can mean. It could be that he has lost his sense of novelty and adventure because he has stayed too long in one place. And that is exactly how I felt when I started reading this. I'm like, oh my God. It could be that his privilege has blinded him to gratitude. It could be that he has lost his hunger because he has been given everything he needs. And it's almost like I didn't realize until I started my spiritual journey that I can manifest things very easily. Most of the time, because I've had a lot of negative attitude, it's been negative. And so I'm working on that. But going complacent is a whole other thing that I didn't realize had happened. But I got everything I needed through manifestation without realizing it. And then I was still waiting for that thing I needed when I already had it, if that makes any sense. And I'm just kind of going through here. There was some other stuff I wanted to read, but I can't find it. Hold on one second. Okay, and I think it's right here. It says, all along, maybe what we've failed to understand is that meaning is imminent. It's already there. Wherever you go, there you are. All of this, no doubt, sounds comforting, confoundingly abstract, but the way I see it is this: we all seek meaning. When meaning drains from life, when we feel our lives are purposeless, we grow despondent. But what if meaning is something you uncover? What if it is something to find within yourself, not something that is thrust upon you? Experience may help you realize your purpose out here, but even so, the whole time you are carrying your purpose hidden within you, no matter what you do and where you go. Maybe the figure under the tree isn't bored. Maybe his inner eye is focused on something we cannot see. Maybe he is actively imagining his way towards meaning, and once he's done chatting with that mysterious talking fish, he's talking about the Page of Cups now, well, he will find the next step in his heroic journey. And I find that interesting that it's like maybe he's really just trying to look beyond what he can be offered and what he can, the wisdom he can seek, which I found very interesting. I think I'm done reading that. So I did want to read to you guys because in my mind, I see this as a depression card. I see this as a card of, despite all of the information I just loaded on you, and there's several different ways, and I'm probably not explaining it right because I'm tired. I've always seen the Four of Cups as a depression card. Stasis, listless, feeling sorry for yourself. And it's almost like maybe in the 2 and 3, life was so good. It was too good to be true. So now when you're offered something significant in the Four of Cups, it's hard to believe or too good to be true. So you turn it away. But I also see this as a card of, like I said, depression. Being listless, being in this stasis. And it did talk in the book about the status quo. And I found that very interesting that it kind of goes along with what I see in the Four of Cups. Now, I did pull cards from other decks just to show you guys. But this one is the Four of Cups and the Superlunaris. It's refusing, again, talking about refusing that call. But she's flat out like, I'm not having any of it. And I just find that quite interesting with this specific card because I've never seen the Four of Cups where they're flat out refusing the offer. And it almost, she seems like a princess, like somebody that knows what she wants and she's going after it, which is completely opposite what I see in the Four of Cups normally, which is why I was probably drawn to this card to begin with, because she's like, I don't need it. I have everything I need. I know what I want. I know what I'm going for. This is not it. She's ignoring it with a purpose. And I love that for this specific card, because to me, this card is about being in a depressive lack of state. And I just found that very interesting. So I wanted to read you guys. I did pull from my Tarot of the She, the Dreamer 4, and it's a vain reflection, which is another type of being vain, or, kind of like here where you're just, I don't need it. But I wanted to read you this book specifically because it's a poem. And if I can find it now, Dancer 4. It speaks to a part of what I see in the 4. Although it does talk of vanity in the key words, or spoiled, which I don't ever think I've seen in the Four of Cups. So that's interesting. It says, but when our soul is fed too much, reflective longings are as such that we lose sight of all that's good, and boredom drains our dancer's blood. Keywords: boredom, overindulgence, vanity, dissatisfaction, spoiled, and stagnation. And stagnation is another big keyword for me that jumps out. That being in that stasis moment where you stayed too long at the party. And I've said quite often where sometimes when I'm in hermit, you can go into hermit mode, but don't stay too long. And I think that's part of my connection with the dancer for the Four of Cups is I went into this hermit mode thinking self-protect, but I stayed so long that I'm stuck there. And that brings in this Four of Cups energy for me, which is, to me, it ties into that hermit energy as well, in a negative way. And then we have the Four of Spring from my Tarot of the Japanese Poetry. And again, I'm going to read you, these cards are stunning. I'm just going to read you what it says in here. Because again, I'm all about the poetry lately. And this is Four of Spring, because it goes by the, seasons. It says, far from everyone in the gorge between the mountain rocks, alone, all alone, invisible to human eyes, I surrender myself to a yearning thought. So this poem kind of goes over not being boredom or stasis or being in that status quo. It's more of a meditative. What is flying through here? It's a fly or something flying through. It's being more in that meditative moment, which I find interesting. But then the keywords are pessimism, apathy, isolation, daydreaming, lethargy, and of course, boredom. I just find that interesting with this specific card. So there's different terms for a lot of this, but the main thing was boredom and apathy. And I just found that interesting. But I still see it as if you're looking at the normal Four of Cups, I see it as a depression card, because if you're depressed, you're not always seeing the good. You're not always seeing what's being offered to you. If you're in a depressive state, things could be happening around you and you're just not noticing because you're in this moment. And I also want to show you guys some of my Chariot cards just because I love them and they're beautiful. This one is from the Elemental Power Tarot. The Chariot, it's almost like they've come to this Chariot moment. They've got to their destination and now they're done. And the Chariot is done and it stopped moving. And I found that beautiful. And then we have from the Elemental Wisdom Tarot. It's a stunning card. And then we have my fairies from my Fairy Tarot. They're flying in the air. I love it. And then we have from my Forest Creatures Limited Edition. And that is gorgeous. It's probably one of my favorite chariots right there. I do have some very beautiful chariots, even though I don't typically resonate with the chariot card, even though it's my soul card. I think that's all. Oh, no, I have a couple things here. Because I was going to read this. I was trying to find... I'm not going to really read it. I might read it in the thing because I'm almost out of time here. But I did want to say... I talked about... I was thinking about the Four of Cups and depression can be... And I kept hearing today... food tastes like ashes in my mouth. And I know that's either a movie I saw... or a song I heard, something, book I read, something. It's some kind of dialogue that happened. And it's when you get in a depressive state, because I've had that. I've been there. You can eat food and it tastes like ashes in your mouth. Nothing tastes good. Nothing smells good. No sunshine in sight. And I find that quite interesting because it's kind of a dark, cloudy day here. And then I actually Googled Turn to Ashes in Your Mouth, trying to find this poem or whatever I'd seen. And I seen other things that were talking about ashes in your mouth. I'll just read this. It says, become bitterly disappointing to or worthless. The phrase alludes to the Dead Sea fruit, a legendary fruit which looked appetizing but turned by smoke and ashes when someone tried to eat it. The fruit are described in the travels attributed to the 14th century writer John de Mandeville. 1995 Guardian. Those who marveled at the phenomenal clinging feats of Pedro Delgado in the 1988 tour found words such as heroic and Herculean turned to ashes in their mouth during their proboscis, a masking agent. That's not the only thing I want to read, but I'm out of time. But I might finish reading that in my spread I do that Marlena Teresa has posted. And as always, I will try to link her post below if and when I remember to do it. I've had a lot of stuff going on lately, so I'm kind of behind on these videos. But this is my Decan walk of the Four of Cups. I found it very fascinating the last few days. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, don't hesitate to comment below. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more, please subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification button so you're alerted to any future videos. And y'all have a good night. Bye.